ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. This is a challenge issued by Sustainable Development Goal 7. Significant progress has been made over the past decade on improving access to electricity, increasing renewable energy use in the electricity sector, and improving energy efficiency. But the world is far from providing enough affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Energy services are key to preventing disease and fighting pandemics. From powering healthcare facilities and supplying clean water for essential hygiene, to enabling communications and IT services that connect people while maintaining social distancing. Lack of access to energy hampers efforts to control COVID-19 across the world. So, what can we do to help transition the world into using cleaner and better sources of energy? And how are we so far in trying to achieve this? Hello science fans, my name is Chana and I'm your resident Filipino scientist. Join us in today's episode where we talk about SDG 7, affordable and clean energy. The Philippines is facing a mounting energy crisis as the Malampaya gas fields, which supply 30% of Luzon's energy consumption, are expected to be depleted by 2024. An ever-increasing population, an administration-mandated infrastructure boom, and some of the most expensive electricity costs in Southeast Asia all combine to present formidable challenges. The Philippine government has stated that it envisions the Philippines being energy self-sufficient, utilizing a combination of fossil fuels and renewable energy as solutions. About 43 gigawatts of additional capacity is needed by 2040, and the country is well behind in developing potential solutions. The current energy mix is composed of 47% coal, 22% natural gas, 24% renewable energy, and 6.2% oil-based, with current energy capacity at 23 gigawatts. While our country indicated interest in green energy, there are no significant incentives for going green and no clear penalties for using non-renewable energy. Our current energy grid also needs significant investments in order to accommodate additional input from renewable resources. Please understand that the electricity sector in the Philippines is fully privatized, with one major utility, Meralco, holding 80% of the market. The remaining 20% is made up of regional players and about 100 plus electric cooperatives. The need for energy solutions and new equipment exists, but larger players make purely commercial decisions that favor lower cost, and the smaller players often do not have the resources to purchase the expensive long-term solutions. Instead of fully committing to green energy, the government is instead looking for investors for offshore exploration. But foreign investors are hesitant as they face contract sanctity and back tax issues. Now, SDG 7 challenges all nations to ensure universal access to affordable, reliable, and modern energy services. Recent data shows that the average price of electricity in the world is about 7 pesos and 10 centavos per kilowatt hour for households and about 6 pesos and 48 cents for businesses. Sadly, electricity rates in the Philippines are among the highest in Southeast Asia, due in large part to our dependence on expensive imported diesel, oil, and coal. In 2016, the Philippines had the highest commercial rate for electricity in Southeast Asia, with 7 pesos and 49 cents per kilowatt hour for businesses and the whopping 8 pesos and 90 cents per kilowatt hour for households. Now, according to the Department of Energy, the primary reason for these high electricity prices is the absence of government subsidies. And fairly recently, President Rodrigo Duterte has signed an executive order that outlines the government's position for the inclusion of nuclear energy in the Philippines' energy mix, taking into account economic, political, social, and environmental objectives. The executive order basically states that nuclear energy is essential so that we can bridge the gap between supply and demand, and also as a driver for economic growth. It also sees the potential of nuclear energy in order to drive down or reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It is interesting to note that there is ongoing debate as to whether or not nuclear energy can be considered a sustainable source of energy. Despite the efficiency of nuclear power plants, we have to remember that renewable energy comes from sources that are regularly replenished, such as in the case of hydroelectric power plants, water is replenished by the rain, and in the case of solar energy, the energy is replenished by sunlight. And since nuclear power plants make use of radioactive fuel, then it is not exactly renewable in the same sense. Now, related to that is the challenge of SDG 7 to increase substantially the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix. For the Philippines in April 2021, our government committed to reducing and avoiding 75% of our greenhouse gas emissions for the period of 2020 to 2030. This goal covers the sectors of energy, transport, industry, agriculture, and waste. Power generation using renewable energy started in the Philippines in 1913 with a 560-kilowatt Camp John Hay hydroelectric power plant that was developed by missionaries. As this flourished, hydropower became nationalized 23 years later in the same law that established the National Power Corporation or NAPOCOR. Geothermal power came much later in 1979 in Tiwi, Albay. And after decades of incubation as a technology, solar and wind power started contributing to our national grid by 2005, and biomass followed suit in 2009. But in the Philippine Energy Plan 2018 to 2040, which was not finalized until November 2020, the Energy Department reiterates its stance of maintaining a technology-neutral approach for an optimal energy mix. And so, renewable energy only accounts for 21.2% of our actual energy outputs in 2020. And majority of our energy needs are still supplied by coal, oil, and natural gas. And finally, SDG 7 also challenges all countries to double the global rate of improvement in energy efficiency. Recent studies show that Germany is the most energy efficient country worldwide. The analysis looked at 16 different economies, taking fuel efficiency standards for cars, power efficiency standards for household appliances, and energy to heat a square foot of a building all into account. The Philippine Energy Efficiency Roadmap 2014 to 2030 is a detailed outline of a strategic plan that is directed at creating a more energy-efficient Philippines across all sectors of economic activity. And its main objective is to reduce the final energy demand of the Philippines by 10% within the 2011 to 2030 period. But how are we going to achieve this? And here, I believe, is where STEM comes in to help achieve SDG 7. Well, when other countries are concerned about staying warm, in the case of the Philippines, our energy is consumed by trying to stay cool. And STEM can help with this energy efficiency issue by creating more efficient ways of air circulation. And one amazing contribution that we've seen is through the air disc technology that was developed by Maria Isabel Angel Palma that can revolutionize how we cool buildings here in the Philippines without the use of hydrofluorocarbons. Our need to function at night with proper illumination also poses a challenge to energy efficiency, and STEM has helped with this through the development of the more energy-efficient LED bulbs. And we are seeing more roads and towns and houses with little to no access to electricity being illuminated by solar-powered lighting. STEM can also help with energy management, which is the best way to track and monitor energy consumption, with the goal of properly distributing power throughout different facilities. This allows businesses and industries to be able to save more energy and reduce overall consumption by a significant amount. And so science has spoken, and science will continue to speak. And in order for us to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, we must try and listen. But what do you think? What other innovations are needed in order for us to achieve SDG 7? How can scientists and engineers collaborate with other sectors of society in order to create clean and affordable energy? Please share your thoughts and ideas in the comments section below. And to keep updated with the latest videos from SHE-ensya, please follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Follow me also on IG at shauna.abeledo. Thank you very much for joining us in the sustainability episode, and I hope to see you around!